Big Silz, happy Turkey Week, and welcome to the special. Hey, I don't know about you, food and football, it's the best time of the year. Food and football. Am I right when I say that, right? So we welcome you aboard. Please hit the like button. Thank you guys so much for coming aboard with me here on a holiday week. Thanksgiving is such a great time. I don't know about you, but I've never realized how turkey food makes you tired. It makes you tired. My wife made this 20-pound turkey yesterday, and as soon as I was done with it, my daughter and I, she's looking at me. She's home from school. She goes, geez, Dad, I don't know. I'm like, I don't know what it is, man. It's like kryptonite. But when you put the food, right? When you put the food in front of you and it's turkey day, I don't know what it is, man. It's like kryptonite for me, man. I'm like, I'm woozy, I'm wobbling, right? The tryptophan, that's it, man. What an absolutely great day yesterday. Got a chance to watch some really telling football, too. We're going to get into that here in a second. We got a boatload of people that are going to join us, too. We still have and are waiting on some folks yet to try to jump aboard with us. Craig Carton's going to join us from WFAN in hour number 2 at 1:30 Eastern time. Philly 500 is going to step in with us, and a boatload of other people are going to come aboard with us here today, as you will, and we appreciate you coming in. Giants suck? I don't know about the Giants suck. I think Brian Daboll has done a hell of a job. I really do. I think he's your slam dunk NFL Coach of the Year. Nobody on the planet thought that Brian Daboll was going to go into New York and turn that culture around the way he's turned it around. I think Brian Daboll's got that program going in the right direction. I just think he's got the wrong signal caller. I think he's got the wrong dude, man, and Daniel Jones. I think they got to make an upgrade. Could it be Garoppolo? Could it be Derek Carr? Those two guys are going to be on the open market come this offseason. Who would have thought? Get this. The Eagles are the team not looking for a quarterback. Are we sold on that yet? We'll get into that as well. Dak Prescott and the Dallas Cowboys stepping up against New York. Do you concern yourself now with the Cowboys? Not so much that you're going to lose the NFC East if you're the Eagles. Are you now worried about having to face them potentially in the playoffs? Especially if they sign Odell Beckham. Hey, Saquon Barkley's a good football player. And you know what? I'll tell you what. I thought Dallas did a nice job on him. Dallas still, their biggest issue, in my opinion, is still stopping the run. Micah Parsons, that was a hell of a football game. That was a hell of a football game. I'm going to start reading all you guys here. And guys, thank you so much. By the way, man, we're going 12 to 6 Eastern time. So we're going to sit here all day long and have some fun. There is so much. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I got like 17 pieces of information here that we're going to all hit on here. I think Dallas could be difficult too, Maniac. I do. I think they could be very difficult too. So, again, thank you guys so much for coming aboard here on this day when the day after Thanksgiving, I'll tell you what, man, everyone's always kind of tough to get up, right? Especially if you had a big meal. I'm a leg guy. Holy cow, was that a great meal yesterday. I may be getting some grub, by the way, during the show. Because I have to recharge myself here. I'll get to let me start reading here a little bit here. Then I'm going to get into the topics here. Man, sir, Big Silz, keep up the great work. Thank you so much, man. First half sucked, though. Hey, how about that? How about that Buffalo Bills? And I'm gonna, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to have a debate with you, Josh Allen, Jalen Hurts. And I'm going to make a comparison to you. And you guys just might be right. Philiopolis, same shit, different year with the Cowboys. No one is scared of them. I can't dispute what Philiopolis just said. Is A.J. Brown better than Lamb? Absolutely. Absolutely. I'm sorry. A.J. Brown's a better wide receiver than CeeDee Lamb. Yes. Paul, thank you for coming aboard, brother. William, thank you. Silz getting paid for time and a half today, Manster. Thank you. Josh Allen is reckless. You know what? Let's start there. You know what, guys? I have fought you and 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 fought you one more time and fought you with Josh Allen. Jalen Hurts is never going to make the spectacular plays that Josh Allen makes. He's never. But do you know what Jalen Hurts is going to do that Josh Allen does all the time? Or I should say, you know what Jalen's never going to do? He is never going to be a turnover machine. Josh Allen is such a great football player. He's got a better arm. He's a bigger dude. He's more physical. He's too reckless. Those interceptions and turnovers, do you know how many times I said in that game, Philiopolis, Maniac, all of you guys, do you know how many times I thought of every one of you when I went, this guy turns the fucking ball over too much. This has got to stop. He's going to cost them a chance at winning a Super Bowl if he continues this recklessness. Jalen's never going to do that. Which means what? Jalen's never going to put his team in a position to fail. How many times in that Lions game did you go like this? Jesus Christ, this guy's a great ball player. And then you watched him throw a pick, and you were like this. Man, you can't make that play in the red zone. They must have the worst red zone passing offense in the league. How can that be with a guy that gifted? You guys may be right. I must have said this. I must have said this. Jalen's never going to make the plays this guy makes. Good and bad. Good and bad. You know what? I'm still taking Allen. But man, I'm here. Let me make this comparison. Who would you take to run your football? Emmitt Smith or Barry Sanders? Who would you guys take as your running back? Who would you take? If you had to have a running back and you had to have a guy win ball games for you, would you take Emmitt or would you take Barry? Which one of those players would you take? Emmitt or Barry Sanders? Toad said something I'm going to save that because I want to see what D said. The folks say here, Barry. JM says, depends on the O-line. Look at William. Depends on the O-line. If everything is equal, guys. If everything is equal, who do you take? Barry or Emmitt? Let me tell you what Coach Johnson told me about those two players. And this kind of goes down the line of Jalen Hurts versus Josh Allen. Josh Allen's going to make the spectacular plays. He is going to make unbelievable throws, 80 yards on a dime. You're not going to believe it. But he's going to have a lot of minus plays. Like Barry. I was kind of giving you this the other day on Barry Sanders. Barry's going to go like this. -5, -2, 7 yards, -1, 73-yard touchdown run. -2, -10, 62-yard TD run. And here's Emmitt, 8, 9, 6, 2, 10, 5, never minus yards. And when you look up, he's got 28 carries for 155 yards. And you're like, where'd that come from? Because Sanders was going to make the spectacular play, but it never resulted in winning. Emmitt believed in no minus yardage. That's why he's the all-time leading rusher. Who was more spectacular? Well, Barry. Who won more? Emmett. Better coaching? Obviously, I get all that. That's kind of what you have with Jalen. Jalen is going to win more games, I think, than Josh Allen. I hold on. It's so hard for me to say that. I think he's going to win more games. You can, unless he hones that in. Now, is it Brian Dable not being there? Is that still a problem? I probably think it is. Ken Dorsey and him are trying to figure out the second half. I thought the Lions played well too, James. Okay, I really did. Emmett had an outstanding O-line, though. Hey, you know what, though, Ruiz? That O-line was there when Coach Landry was there. Nate was there. Tune was there. Gogan was there. Those guys were all under Coach Landry, too. The guys that they added in were Stepnoski. Crawford Kerr was there, too, early on. Then they started adding some more O-linemen, but the majority of those guys were there with Coach Landry. I was there for that. So when you guys are saying this to Silz, are you okay with the Josh Allen turnovers? No, I'm not okay with the Josh Allen turnovers. Okay? I'm not okay with the turnovers. So I feel what you guys are saying here when you're talking about a guy and you're talking about he's not going to turn the ball over. In turn, he's Tom Brady. Here, I really did a lot of thinking on him yesterday. I'm talking Jalen. He just won't turn the ball over. He's not going to. Christian, you see my point? It's that I'm not saying, by the way, I'm not saying to you that Jalen doesn't make really fine ball plays. He does, but he's not going to make the spectacular plays. Say that that Josh Allen is, but he's not going to make the horrific turnover play like Josh Allen does. He was so good 90% of the game. The other 10, you're like, freaking maniac with those turnovers. Barry was the only weapon. Okay. Josh Allen has 19 turnovers. That is way over the top. Way over the top. Cowboys had Irvin, Harper, Johnston, Novacek. Lions had Barry. They knew exactly what the Lions could do. Yeah, that's a fact. Alvin Harper plus Michael Irvin. But I think you get my point. Dak has 8 TDs and 6 picks in 6 games. He is Josh Allen. I mean, look, I see how people in Philly go, I'll take Jalen. I'll take Jalen. I'll take Jalen because Jalen is not going to put the team in harm's way. Whereas Allen believes he could throw himself out of trouble the same way the guy in Kansas City can. Joe, Josh Allen is a red zone turnover machine. He's got to rectify that or the Bills are not going to go far in the postseason. You can't keep turning the ball over like that. That was my takeaway from the Bills and the Lions game. Was that Allen, that was a really great effort by the Lions, and I give the Lions all that, and kudos for playing hard and all that on Turkey Day. Probably one of the best efforts the Lions have had on Turkey Day in a long time. End of the day, though, Josh Allen, my takeaway was, dude, can't have those turnovers. And everybody in Philly, when they say I'll take Jalen, it's not so much that you're saying that Josh is a better or Jalen's a better talent than Allen. He just protects the ball better. Philiopolis, Brett Favre, Josh Allen. That's a great comparison. That's a great comparison. Josh Allen's the modern day Brett Favre. I agree. I agree with that. If you had to compare Josh Allen's approach to the game, it would be Brett Favre, wouldn't it? Man, it's appreciated. Thank you. That's a great take. That's a great take, man. He's Brett Favre. The kid from Jackson State, Deion's son. I think the kid from Jackson State, I think he's going to be great. Let's move on here. Let me get into another topic here. What did we learn about the Cowboys yesterday? Cowboys versus Giants. What did you learn about them? What did you learn about the Dallas Cowboys yesterday? Shakur Sanders is a hell of a football player. I'd like to see him in Philly in the third round, second round. Put him behind Jalen. Love to have him on the Eagles. What did we learn about the Cowboys yesterday? Dak is overpaid. They're vulnerable. Hurts thrives in being the underdog. They don't like us. We don't care. I've come to understand that and respect that. They have heart. They struggled against an injured team. The offense rolls when the D steps up. Isn't it the same with the penalties, though, with Dallas? They're still a little bit, I don't want to say not coached well. Their discipline still is an issue for me. Is that fair? The discipline's an issue. Okay? This is where the Eagles, in my opinion, can beat them more so on Christmas Eve. I think it's got to do with discipline. Look at all those penalties again. This has been an ongoing issue with that football program going on 2 decades. Has been discipline. The lack of discipline catches them in the postseason every year. What did I learn from the Dallas Cowboys against the Giants? I don't know. Not too much. Why would the Giants play into throwing the ball the way they did and not run Barkley more? Why didn't they do that? Why did the Giants feel that throwing the ball was in the best interest? You unleash Michael Parsons when you do that. I think it's suspect play calling. For all the shit that they keep telling me Kellen Moore is a good play caller, I don't see it. I think Shane Steichen might be a better play caller, albeit last week wasn't his best effort. But, dude, when you got a team and you got a Cowboy team that you know you can run the ball on, why are these both coordinators in this game yesterday winging the ball around the yard? Run the damn thing. I was disappointed in Brian Daboll a little bit in his play calling. If the Eagles are healthy, we beat them. See, that's it, KC. The Eagles aren't healthy right now. And they're going to be this is going to be a really interesting ball game. I think the Cowboy offense right now is better than Philly. Not because talent, because of injuries. That's the only reason I'm saying that. Dak Cousins still overpaid $40 million. Guys, I'm going to say this to you. Who's it a bigger game for Christmas Eve? Dak or Jalen? Who's it a bigger game for? Dak Prescott or Jalen Hurts? Williams says Prescott is on skates without the wheels. Cowboys shined against a depleted Giants lineup, and now everyone is praising them. I'm not. And it was steady. That's what Tone was saying when we were having that conversation. Jalen has to prove he can beat Dak. That's my boy Tone talking. Jalen has never beaten Dak. Jalen. Prescott. San Francisco will be our main nemesis come playoff time. Dak, they claim he's missing. He's the missing piece. He has to prove them right. Jalen, 100% maniac. Hurts. Silz, what do you think the acquisition of OBJ to Dallas means in the long run? We'll get to that. That's part of it. They're having great conversations right now, from what I'm being told. All right. Here's how I look at that dynamic. Jalen Hurts is in a position right now where he's playing with house money. They're 9-1. They're playing consistent. There's only one other quarterback in the NFL playing as consistent as he is right now, and that's Patrick Mahomes of Kansas City. That's it. There's other guys with bigger numbers. There's other guys with more touchdown. He's been the steadiest guy of all the quarterbacks in the league next to Mahomes. But he has not won a significant game yet. Now, he's got another year on this deal. Dak Prescott, on the other hand, bro, it's got to get to a point when you're Jerry Jones, when you do this, we got to win these games, man. We've got to win significant games that matter. You got to beat Philly, dude. Or why pay the guy $45 million? Hurts beats Dak. Let's say he does. Dude, Hurts is automatically going to get his $45 million. If this kid does all the things that we think he's going to do this year and he's going to run through the tape, he's going to win the East. He's going to get home field advantage. He's going to win maybe a couple playoff games. There's no other barrier to knock down. Dak hasn't knocked one of those barriers down except win the NFC East. That's not good enough at $42 million. I think it's a really tough question. And Tone says, I agree with you, Tone. Got to prove you could beat Dak. Dak's 7-3 against the Eagles. Jalen has moped by them in Dallas. He's unproven one. He's the one without the contract. Okay. He beat him in week 6. He didn't beat Dak Prescott in week 6. He beat Cooper Rush in week 6. Hurts hasn't been paid, and it's his final year. He has one more year, my friend. JM, I believe he has one more year on this current contract. Dallas Cowboys are sweating the hell out of OBJ. So Eagles signed Anthony Rush to the practice squad. Mean anything? Depth. OBJ doesn't want just to play a few regular season games and one playoff game. No, he wants a multi-year contract. That's why he's not looking at just being a hired gun for the Cowboys. He wants a deal. I still think Kansas City's in that conversation too, my friends. We are really lucky to have Hurts as our quarterback. He will bring millions to the Eagles' bottom line and goodwill. That's a good-looking guy to have as your face of your franchise. I don't think OBJ has the impact for this year. He won't be medically cleared for football activities until December 5th. Paul, I don't know how he's going to come off that injury, and people are going to go like this. He's going to be 100%. I saw him running around. 2 of these wins are clinched resting games. Dak has proven what? Nothing. Nothing. But what has Kyler Murray proven? Minus says, yeah, but don't forget, Cooper Rush was 4-0. Yeah, but Cooper Rush, Dak Prescott, we're not really going there, right? The Giants cut him. We're wearing the all black. I'm looking forward to seeing that. I didn't say final year. It's it's first year with weapons. Okay. Richard, what up, my friend? Thank you for coming aboard. We beat Dallas. Michael Parsons' defense, dude. I think the pressure for Jalen, he's playing with house money, like I said. I think he's playing with house money here. By the way, we're going to revisit some of the topics we talked about this week a little bit. My MVP race, the Defensive Player of the Year, also our quarterback rankings. We're going to go through that again. Our top NFL teams, our predictions for this NFL weekend. Boatload of things that we're going to be hitting on here too. So hopefully everybody has had a great Turkey Day and getting ready for some football today too as well. Defense is the strength of the team without question. As soon as we beat them, it is, but you didn't beat Dak. You haven't beat Dak. I think that game on Christmas Eve has so many storylines around it. This is what I learned from Dallas. Nothing. That game against the Giants, I didn't learn anything. Nothing. I came away from that game with more questions. More question marks. Prescott is being the steamroller. Malcolm Jacobs in shape, available, sign that man. I don't think you need him. I think you need more of a position guy to get more offense going, because without Dallas Goedert back there, I don't know why they're not utilizing Miles Sanders more. I don't know why you're not using Miles Sanders more here. So we're waiting on some people to come aboard with us too as well. So, okay, it's all good. If the Eagles lose to Dallas, it would be because of Gannon and not Hurts. Hurts doesn't play defense. Hope everybody had a great Thanksgiving. Absolutely. Absolutely. I've said that too, my friend. If this football team fails this year, and I'm talking the Eagles, it'll fail because of the coaching staff. It'll fail because of the staff and the emotions that we saw a little bit. I think last week was a one-off. I had a chance to talk to Frank Reich yesterday, and Frank's doing well. By the way, do not be shocked if he doesn't join the Philadelphia Eagle coaching staff in this offseason. He may be even helping now. I couldn't get him to confirm that. Okay? Agree with you, Silz. We need a dependable tight end to open up the middle. You know what? And when you don't have one, use your running back. Put him in the slot. I don't know why Miles Sanders is being taken off the field. Is that a business move? Is that a business decision? I don't know. There might be something wrong with him. Nobody's said anything. Y'all act like Dak plays by himself. Jalen plays against Dallas defense. Dak plays against our defense. John, you know what everyone's talking about. And you know how people perceive quarterbacks when they're playing against defenses and other football teams. The quarterback is the guy who gets the heat, and he also is the one that gets the love. Justin Jefferson was spectacular. He was spectacular last night. He really was. He was absolutely spectacular. I thought that was I thought all three games were great yesterday. Minnesota coming back. What are they now? 9-2 on the season? I thought Minnesota beating New England. I thought that was a really good ball game as well. Eagles hired ex-Colts OC Marcus Brady as a consultant to Gannon per Tim McManus. Wow. Eagles hired ex-Colts OC Marcus Brady as a consultant to Gannon per Tim McManus. Wow. You understand how important that is? Do you guys understand how important that is? Do you know what the significance of that is? The Eagles have hired ex-Colts OC Marcus Brady as a consultant to Gannon per Tim McManus. Why do you think that's important? Worked with Frank. worked with Frank. That entire coaching staff may come over to the Philadelphia Eagles. Silz, this proves that we knew Gannon is the head coach next season, is a head coach next year. Brady, 43, is working primary with the defensive coordinator, Jonathan Gannon, and his staff, offering perspective as an offensive coordinator on how he would attack the Eagles' defense, sources are saying. So Marcus Brady is, as an offensive coach, now part as a consultant to Jonathan Gannon on how he would approach attacking Jonathan Gannon's defense. It's pretty smart. It's pretty smart. You get an OC in there. How would you attack my defense? What would be some of the things that you would do to attack my defense? Well, you know that, especially when a guy like Aaron Rodgers, if you play a 5 front on Sunday and you take one less guy out of the secondary, I can promise you this right now, and I know Brady. He's going to be telling him, man, I'll tell you what, you take one less guy out of there, it's going to be about getting personnel on and off the field here. So one more time here. Marcus Brady has been hired by the Eagles as a consultant to the defensive coordinator, Jonathan Gannon, per Tim McManus. Brady, 43, is working primary with defensive coordinator Jonathan Gannon and his staff and will offer perspective as an offensive coach on how he would attack the Eagles' defense, sources say. Frank didn't take the job. So what better? You hired Frank's OC. Frank will give input on this too. Okay? It's the second best thing to Frank Wright. Eagles pulling all the resources they possibly can. Absolutely, Philiopolis. I thought Love is getting the start. Without Hurts, we would be 5-7. I think it is a great move. Get into Carolina next year? Maybe. That's like hiring Houston's DC this year for rushing defensive tactics. No, because remember what Jalen practices and what Jalen looks at and how Jalen even looks at Frank Wright. He breaks down Frank Wright film. And so now that you have an OC and Brady, this is a guy that Nick Sirianni has great respect for. Sirianni has great respect for Brady. And so giving him proper perspective, Jonathan Gannon probably feels comfortable with him too. Gannon's a buttercup. I don't know about Gannon being a buttercup. All right. The impact that OBJ would have on the Cowboys. I say this because I think Cowboys and 49ers, I think those are your two biggest threats. All right, do me a favor. Hit the like button. Don't forget, next hour we will have Craig Carton from WFAN in New York. I appreciate everybody coming aboard here. Please hit the like button. Keep it here on the National Football Show.